Your clocks go forward. They keep moving ahead, and so does Two C's in a Pod. It's another week coming at you hot, everybody. We got some nightcap. We got a top 5 for you, and never forget, we got a good old headliner asinine. Stay tuned, folks.
Continuing
tonight on Two C's in a Pod, 96.7 on your Two C's in a pod, 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 because we're two C's in a pod, just like two C's in a pod, two C's in a pod at gmail.com.
Oh, wait, you're doing an intro these days?
That was an intro, yeah.
That was an intro.
It's a common thing. People typically do that on shows. I don't know if you've watched any shows recently.
I've seen shows before.
Yeah, it's kind of like a theme, like you preview.
I thought the preview was always previously on. See, that's why I was confused. You know, you would have like previously on Two C's in a Pod. You know, and then we could talk about the vapors.
The top 5 vapors.
We talk about, of course, we can talk about vaping. We talk about previously things we've done on the show, Cam, because now I'm worried now that we're a minute into the show and there hasn't been a single introduction that's made. See, that's what I don't like about broad reach intros.
Do you think Joe Rogan opens his shows and goes like, by the way, I'm Joe Rogan?
Always. The graphic at the beginning has, you know, the little spinning face of his.
Joe Rogan Experience.
You know, it always says that. You know, I mean, Cam, the show's, you know, we're 100 or we're 90 seconds into this, and not a single name that's been said has actually belonged to, well, I guess I said your name, but there's been no introduction that's been done.
All right, well, let's break the ice, break the tension. It's
Break
March.
the ice for us.
I'm Cam LeClaire, your co-host / co-owner of the show / #1 Bitcoin investor. Cam Osborne sitting to my direct 6 o'clock or
Cameron
12
Osborne,
o'clock. I don't know, probably 12 o'clock.
That's here, Cam. You got, you got big into, of course, the cryptocurrencies are rising. Wall Street, GameStop's all over the place. Cam, you told me about an exciting new thing the other week. You were telling me that you put all your money into Shitcoin.
Yeah, Shitcoin. Yeah. So it's not blown up yet, but basically the premise behind it is...
I'd love to hear this.
It's kind of complex, but the value of it's actually based on... so you know when you have every color itself is coded with a number?
Okay.
So it's randomly digitized numbers based on color of shit.
It has nothing to do with some kind of crypto blockchain type of technology. This is more of like a paint by colors, but for feces.
You got it.
And you seem to have thrown a lot of your money into this.
A lot. Yeah. Don't believe in savings anymore.
I said which is just essentially a paint by numbers for weirdos.
Yeah, you got it. What color's your poop? What color's your money? Green and green.
Hopefully it's both green, baby. Cam, like you said, we have a great show coming up.
We do.
The preview aside, because see, I think we'll make a good preview. I mean, if we're looking for the future, we need like background music hyping it up. You know, like when it's like that first 15 seconds of Entertainment Tonight is like, you know, we have the exclusive interview with Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt,
it's very exciting.
The other Angelina Jolie.
So Cam, let's try a couple cold intros right now.
Okay.
You know, if that was something you want to do, I'd love to hear. Cam, you get another crack at it.
I get a second crack at
this. I'd love to hear it.
This week on Two C's in a Pod, the fellas are going to break down another episode of KnightRider, followed up with a great game or two. Stay tuned. Not good.
I mean,
First one was way better.
That was better, Cam. You're focusing too much. You're focusing too much on
the details,
on specifics. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll dumb it down a little bit. This week, Michael Knight gets himself in trouble again, and on top of that, who cheated in their game? All next.
Okay, now we're a little too broad. Now we need to make more
vague?
specific. So let us know how to work on our cold intro skills. Of course, twoceesinapod@gmail.com. We're always loving to hear. We haven't heard from any sponsors in a little while. Of course, we had the Paul Bunyan's 12-ply toilet paper, Pizza Tony's Pizza, the most authentic pizza in Little Italy.
Little Italy.
We'd love to hear more of those. twoceesinapod@gmail.com. Let's move on with the show, shall we? Let's talk a little bit. Let's go forwards with first
Just like
going.
the clocks?
Let's go forward like the clock. But until we go forward, let's go backwards a little bit and cover some of the cover some things from last week's episode with some notes.
Notes. We got some notes. We got some notes. Notes. We got some notes.
You always got to do it. You always got to crack some notes. Notes number 1, LimeWire related. Is LimeWire still going on?
We will find out.
No.
You tell me.
It's been a long time, and I guess I've just been out of the world of downloading like specific like just songs, individual songs, but it's been down since like 2011.
What do you
Weird, eh?
download? What do you download torrents with?
Well, I mean, I'm not downloading music.
What are you downloading torrents with though? Because those were the same things, weren't they?
Yeah, well, you can find like specific. No, they were different because LimeWire and sort of like Napster and Kazaa, it was like peer-to-peer sharing. Where I think torrents are somehow different. I don't know, but
I don't think so. Torrents, I believe, are just peer-to-peer sharing because it's definitely not the company sharing with you.
No, no, they're sitting right there beside you. Universal Music is standing there. They're helping you along the way. For whatever reason, it's different, and for whatever reason, I guess one's allowed to keep going, and one's allowed to not keep going.
Well, I don't think the other ones that you're refusing to name are allowed to keep going. I think they just change their domain name every like 6 months once they get caught. Like if you ever notice places like the Pirate Bay or whenever the piratebay.com, it's the piratebay.se.
Oh yeah, but SE's been going around for years. You should just go back.
Yeah, but I mean those things will just keep rotating.
Keep the page bookmarked because it's not going away anywhere. But yeah, I think as soon as streaming came into play, and then probably torrents, people stopped downloading LimeWire music files, right? Because you have to download like individual shit. You couldn't download an album on LimeWire. You had to download each individual song for the album and then kind of like compile it yourself in Windows Media Player. Like it was easy to do back then, but I think it would be a pain by current
standards,
standards.
Press download album, download discography.
Exactly, right? It all comes like properly,
I don't even want the discography. I just want the songs related to this song that sound somewhat like it.
And no one's
downloading.
I think at this point it's safe to say that if you're downloading music, you're a sucker. I think that's safe to say, right?
You fucking sucker.
You're a sucker. Just pay the $9.99 a month. It'll be fine. You'll get
or split it with your family. Or you know what? They don't know this one yet. I'm not splitting it with my family. I'm splitting it with people that are not in my family, but I still have the family plan.
Wow, that's incredible.
Secrets.
That's incredible. I've always I've always wanted to not give my streaming services password to a family member, and it's really nice.
You don't have to. You just send your name.
Like I refuse to give my mom a Netflix password.
Really?
Of course. She's an adult.
Tell her to buy her own.
You're an adult. I don't want her recommendeds getting all over my recommended.
You can make it her own account.
Because then what if it happens? Then I'm watching and she's watching. I don't want to boot my mom off.
See, I just pay for my whole family's because they paid for many things for me when I was growing up.
Such as?
I don't know. I didn't pay for much between 0 and 5, 0 and 10. Probably up to 15. I really wasn't buying many things, and I'd be shocked if it was this different for you.
Yeah, of course. Started working in the mine, probably around like 5.5. Really slinging a lot of coal. Coal was a big export in Newmarket. Not a lot of people know that. Even though like it's not that far north of the GTA. It's kind of like the northern part of the GTA. A lot of coal mining going on there, right, Cam?
I'd be surprised that people don't know the slogan of Newmarket is "Our greatest secret is coal."
Yeah, it's actually a secret that's the motto itself. It's sort of like when you drive into the town. It's very, very, very small font. right under the city slogan. Let's keep moving on with some notes in here, shall we? We're talking about the band AC/DC, who I think when we signed on there, you gave a little AC/DC shriek of your own.
Sounds about par for the course.
They seem to have a lot of songs about balls.
Black and black.
Which is not what I said at all, Cam. So they have 3 songs with the word balls in them. They got She's Got Balls, Big Balls, and Got You by the Balls. I think in every single case, it all refers to, testicles of what we're calling them, of course. However, balls does not compare to the amount of times AC/DC sings about rock. Because you might be here thinking of the songs Can't Stop the Rock, For Those About to Rock, Got Some Rock and Roll Thunder, Hard as a Rock, It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll, Let There Be Rock, Rock and Peace, Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution, Rocker, Rocking All the Way, Rocking in the Parlor, Rock and Roll Domination, Rock and Roll Dream, Rock and Roll Singer, Rock and Roll Train, Rock or Bust, Rock the Blues Away, Rock the House, Rock Your Heart Out, She likes rock and roll, That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll, There's Gonna Be Some Rockin' and Whiskey on the Rocks. For a total of 23 different songs, just about the subject of rock and roll.
Incredible. Who would have thunk it?
I can't think of a single band singing about rock more than... And for a band, by the way, just kind of like a kid, like nothing is cooler than saying that you're cool. Like nothing rocks harder than writing songs
and saying that you
about rock and roll. As far yeah. What can you be hiding there?
No idea. Do you think you're a rock and roller? Be honest.
I don't even think I'm not compared to this. I don't rock the blues away. I don't. There's not going to be some rockin'. I'm not a rock and roll singer. I'm not all about rock and roll domination. I'm not hard as a rock.
Rock and roll, high school.
Let There Be Rock. All these things, Cam.
I want to rock, yeah.
One more final little bit for notes here, because we had the huge news on the show, Cam, regarding your secret hidden middle name.
Ah, yes, and I have news on that.
I feel
maybe I'm the notes.
I feel like your news is going to supersede my news, Cam. So how about you just kind of hop in there in the middle and then go for it?
My dad refuses to think that that's my name, and he doesn't know why it's there. But it's not on my birth certificate.
So why would it be there in these photos?
That's where I'm not getting straight answers.
Man, this is going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So your dad has had no answer. No why.
He said
that
that's
may
your
have
grandpa's
existed.
name, or your grandpa's. That's your great grandpa's name. He said he's like, that's what we know. So he might be hiding something. Maybe I had a third brother named Edmund.
I think he might be hiding something, because although it is an older name, Edmund is a pretty older name. Are not a lot of people named Edmund. I think if you wanted the name Ed, you should have just gone probably with Edward. That probably seems like the easier way to go about it, because we could go off forever about famous Edwards, and there's only...
what's funny about names is they don't really turn around like fashion does.
No.
Lydia's don't come back. Margaret's and, Doris's. You don't see many Doris's these days.
No.
And I don't think the new batch of names like, Sky White were around 100 years ago. People just do not recycle them.
Well, maybe not a name like
Except,
Sky White, but George has been a name for like 1,000 years.
Yeah. Any biblical names.
Oh, okay.
And king names, they'll be like...
Now you're talking Christian
pumping.
biblical, correct?
Oh, whatever Bible you subscribe to.
Okay. Well, there's definitely a prophet named George in most religious texts.
There you go. And lots of kings, right?
That's
King
not
George.
not a religion thing, but yeah.
Oh, religion is what you define it as.
That's true. But where'd you cut me off? Where'd you cut me off, Cam?
You said we had news about your name, Edmund.
Right. Well, I was right in the middle of the big thing. I don't know. I had a whole bit where I was going to name all the famous Edmonds who pretty much did nothing, but you just kind of trampled over that, Cam. So the hunt continues to find out what your true middle name is. I think the next stop is probably going to the hospital, sort of government records, really trying to dig to the bottom of this.
Start asking the real questions.
Yeah. Really.
Who am I? just grabbing a doctor. And he's like, I remember you and I birthed you. You have him against the wall. What's my name? What's my name?
It'd be amazing
feel
if you
like,
remember that.
feel like you're not biting for any of my humor tonight.
I'm biting. You're not giving me anything to bite to.
I'm just throwing the bait, and you're just you're not hungry tonight.
Yeah, you're giving me a little jig. At least put on a fucking worm.
All right.
At least put a worm on that jig.
Maybe a top 5. We'll get you moving.
Here's a top 5. Here are 5 tips about things. 5 ways. No, it's just a top 5.
Sorry, I got one of those batteries that says it lasts for 4 hours, and then within 10 minutes, like, you have 4 minutes left.
Oh shit! So you picked up that Digity Chastity belt. You picked up the, I guess so far your only complaint on the Digital Chastity belt is that it only has a 4-hour battery life?
Yeah, and once if you don't keep that baby charged, I tell you what.
My God.
All right, well, I know that you follow the UFC religiously, so I'm sure last night you saw the main event, the second round, a man got poked in the eye so bad he could not continue. Some call it, an excuse. Some call it a legitimate injury. The week before, pay-per-view, UFC, man gets kneed in the head, says he cannot finish, wins the belt. Some call it an excuse, some call it legitimate injury. So, this week, we have the top 5 excuses in sport. These are the top 5 excuses that people have made after maybe losing a game, maybe getting caught doing something they shouldn't have, or maybe just poor performance.
This is fantastic, Cam. Of course, nobody likes a sob story. Cry it out, so what? It was a little slippery out there. Hey, you know what I got to say to all these fighters out here? It's called Ultimate Fighter for a reason. If you can't take a knee to the fucking head, get out of the octagon. You're not ultimate to me.
Agree with that, brother.
Amen.
Coming on number 5. This one, very recent, and may have heard of it. Deontay Wilder recently fought up against Tyson Fury for the heavyweight belt after being dominated, and I mean dominated in this fight. He came out with actually 6 different excuses. I'll just name the main 4.
Okay.
First of all, he believed the outfit he wore to the ring, like from the dressing room to the ring, was too heavy and slowed him down. He also blamed that Fury moved his fist down within his glove, making contact with his knuckles more easily to his face. Fury also put an object in his glove, and he also said the water was spiked with muscle relaxer. There's still more on this list, but he's been coming out with just pretty much Baker's dozen full of excuses and refusing to say that he was the better or the worst man that night.
Now, I like all of those. I like what you're wearing down to the ring. Clearly, this man's never seen The Undertaker take 22 minutes to walk down towards the ring at WrestleMania. You can learn a thing or two from this guy. Of course, we all saw the fight. We all saw it.
Yeah. That's powerful.
No fucking excuse.
It does have a battery pack in it. Was for Black Lives Matter, and the face of the actual outfit was based on a 1960s horror film.
Yeah, I know, but see, now it sounds, Cam, now you're justifying these reasons. Cam, what's scarier? Something a props designer made for 35 minutes, or the raw athleticism of Deontay Wilder? You could just take off Deontay Wilder's shirt. That should be enough to scare the piss out of any man. But no, you have to outdo
where you have
Tyson.
To have some silly outfit.
No, he chose to outdo Tyson Fury.
A lot of people
over
wear silly
the top
outfits coming to the ring
because it's the showboating. It's the gloating element of it all, right?
The glitz and the glam.
Doesn't Khabib wear a fucking wig?
Baba Kalushniga.
Exactly. He just wears a wig. There's no reason to do it.
Well, it's a warrior's wig that they wear.
What is this? The year 847? There's no actual excuse. We have democracy these days. We don't need to wear warrior garb. Just more excuses. Cam, let's move on to number 4.
Well, Khabib's never lost, so I mean, it's working for him.
Well, I mean, maybe I was trying to think. I was more like an example.
I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to move on.
spot.
Just trying to get a last
It was
point.
more an example on the spot.
Just trying to get last point. Plowing ahead here, just like the time here. Richard Gasquet, ring a bell? Name?
No, I don't think so.
Richard Gasquet? No, he's a tennis star. Back in the 80s, tested positive for cocaine. When the authorities and the media came around, he says, I did not take the cocaine. I kissed the girl who did, and that's why I tested positive. And this actually got him off. Pretty much got him an acquittal for saying that, no, I would never do cocaine. The ladies in my life, trouble.
No, that's a weird one. I didn't know that cocaine could be transmitted via the lips.
Oh, I don't think it was.
I feel like that's sort of the equivalent of, I got AIDS from sitting on a toilet seat.
Classic.
Which I still think the jury's out on. We don't know that one for sure.
We're not certain on that one.
We're still not certain about that one. But
I still have a few exes that don't believe me.
And but yeah, that could be it. No, that's way to go. No, way to go, that guy. I wonder if that excuse would still hold up, or if better science has led us to realize that wouldn't work.
So number 3, and definitely it has. Number 3 on the list, the New York Knickerbockers lost a game by 20 points in 2010 versus the Thunder. And Cam, do you know why they said they lost that game?
Oh, they said they lost the game? Was it the game when they were wearing suspiciously similar colors?
No. They lost because they saw a ghost and couldn't sleep. It was at the Skirvin Hotel, which has reported ghost sightings and very strange noises reported by several different teams. It is a Hilton and very close to the actual OKC arena, which is why so many athletes do end up staying there. Legend has it that sometime in the 30s, a woman jumped to her death while holding a baby in her hands. Anyway, they weren't taking any excuse. They were on a downward spiral, and the ghost is a real reason they lost.
Well, I mean, as far as the hotel is concerned, if you haven't had a woman jump off a balcony with a baby, who cares? Who gives a fuck about your hotel to begin with?
I mean, I'm okay with nice hotels that don't have that, but hey, that's just me.
I mean, that's just you. That could just be some people. I like this one because, it implies that you're crazy and you believe in ghosts. You kind of have to, not only do you have to, take the L, literally on the loss on the team, but you also kind of have to, publicly admit that you were spooked by a ghost.
You don't think you'd be spooked by a ghost? I'd be spooked by a ghost.
Yeah, but
one player literally said he did not sleep in his room the entire night and just moved to his teammate's room to sleep during the night.
Yeah.
Now that I think about that,
yeah, when you're the largest and wealthiest and most athletic people on the planet, I guess it does have, it's going to take a little bit out of you to admit that you were spooked by a ghost. And then I like to picture all the New York Knicks running around their Oklahoma City hotel, and they're
Scooby-Doo?
like Scooby-Doo, and they're crossing on other sides. Yeah, and then the ghost is chasing them, and then they're all chasing the ghost, and it didn't make a difference. The New York Knicks, they're just pieces of dog shit.
There, especially that 2010 team.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, Vinny Testaverde. Name ring a bell?
Vinny Testaverde, quarterback. A lot of teams. The Patriots, Bills, maybe. No, he's a kicker.
No, he was a quarterback. He was a quarterback and actually played under Bill Belichick, somewhat controversially because while his performance was poor, he was actually played significantly more than his colleague who was in the media's eyes a much better player. Anyway, 1990s rolls around. In his opening season, throws 35 interceptions. His excuse?
It's a lot of interceptions.
Color blindness.
He's colorblind.
Can't see.
Well, that would be and I don't know what it's like to be colorblind. That would almost be like an actual excuse. I remember there was a kid in a gym class that we had Fuck, I can't remember the kid's name or anything. I can't remember. I think it was like probably like grade 6 or 7. But whenever you were in gym, we didn't do the pennies. Or it was like what?
Shirts versus skins.
Yeah, it was pretty much a shirts versus skins.
Bottoms versus tops.
Tops versus bottoms. Power bottoms versus twinks. Yeah, because the kid couldn't tell the difference between the pennies, so it was like only one team. Only one team had to wear them or whatever like that. Because like the kid couldn't tell the difference. I always thought that would be like it's like a thing to have.
I bought it one time where there was a kid on my hockey team. It was red versus green, and we had the exact same jerseys because it was house league. And he was on the bench. He's like, "Fuck." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I can't see shit out there, man."
Mm-hmm. No, that's real. That's real. So if you're the Patriots, you're white and blue. You're playing the Bills, who are also white and blue. You're playing the Jets, who are white and green, and you're playing the Dolphins, who are like green and orange. You're playing those teams 3 times, so there's 6 of your games. Hell, that's going to account for a lot of INTs.
Who knows? Maybe you shouldn't have made it to the NFL at that point then. Like, maybe this is in your first year, but not in your rookie year.
Wait, did it come out? Was he like, sorry guys, I'm colorblind? Like, nobody knew before?
I don't think it was, like, well known. I think it was like...
Right, okay, because I'm like, okay, see, I was thinking...
But my point is, like, if you made it to the NFL,
exam.
it's clearly not that bad of a problem.
Yeah, you're good enough.
Like, yeah, so, like, I get it in high school gym class, sure. In house league hockey, sure. You're in the NFL. You'd think you would find a way around it. It's not like, I didn't think about this. The teams have such similar colors. Who would have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk?
I didn't brick this. Number 1. Any guesses?
Number 1. Oh my God. Well, what's a classic? Deflategate would be a classic. The other teams.
Excuse though. Like what?
Well, the other teams made the excuse that Tom Brady and the Patriots intentionally deflated the balls so they would be easier to throw. The other team made the other teams made the accusations. Of course, there's multiple instances of sign stealing. He was stealing my signs. But I got nothing. Nothing comes to mind. No.
So this one I didn't think you were going to get to mine because you, my friend, are not a cyclist and probably don't follow the Tour de France. Floyd Landis.
I've heard the name, though. I've heard the name.
There we go. It's one of Lance Armstrong's biggest competitors. In 2006, said that his positive synthetic testosterone test came back positive because he drank too much whiskey.
Oh, well, whiskey, they do say put hair on your chest, so it would stand to believe that there would be testosterone injected into whiskey. Jack Daniel's Tennessee.
He later came back and said he never made that statement, although there's multiple reports that he did make that saying or that statement, leading to, in my opinion, the worst excuse ever in sports.
Wow, that I drank whiskey. Well, hey, you're looking for any excuse at that point, right? Like once you've been caught, the backpedaling, literally, that you're trying to do when trying to talk yourself out of testosterone. Like, there's no way to fake that. There's no way to fake that.
I was
I'm sorry, I fuck a lot.
I was at a sauna with a bunch of guys, and the guys, they rub off on each other. Too much testosterone. Who knows?
Yeah, say sorry. I was drinking way too. I just guzzling down guys in the sauna.
Just guzzling down the snake or the milk of the white snake.
Yeah, that's all it has to be. That's all it has to be. Well, Cam, that was fantastic. Those are the 5, sports excuses. Certainly. No one wants to see a contest end in an eye poke. Or
it was pretty disturbing. He was screaming.
But what sucks,
and there was zero audience.
What sucks about those sorts of things too, and sort of the way that the fighters, you have to like train your body for that day, is that you can't just reschedule it 4 days later when your eye feels better. It would be great if you could, but neither party would presumably ever agree to that, which is really funny when you hear them saying like, yeah, I still deserve a shot at the championship. I really want the fight to happen. And you're like, okay, great. Do it like next week when your eye feels better. And then neither party would ever agree to do that. Like it is like a little funny moment sometimes too. There,
I think the quickest someone's run it back is like not run it back, but like had consecutive fights is like 3 weeks.
Yeah, which
days,
if you're from the streets where I'm from, that's because you spent
Newmarket.
That's just because you just spent 3 weeks in Gen Pop and now you're coming back out. We're banging bodies 3, 4, 5 times a day sometimes.
Yeah, that's Newmarket for you.
Yeah, how ultimate are these guys? Oh, I need 7 months to prepare for one fight. Oh, I'm so ultimate.
The funny thing about this one was Leon Edwards had multiple opponents come up over 2 years' time. So the first one was Tyron Woodley. He's been kind of like this guy who's been on the cusp of being popular. Mm-hmm. He was going to fight Tyron Woodley for like right after he lost the belt. COVID happens. Okay, that's done, right? We have a few months after that. Then he's going to fight this really hot up-and-coming prospect. That guy gets COVID. Okay, no worries. We'll push it back a few months' time. Gets COVID again, right? And then finally gets his fight. And basically they've just been like, we don't even know who to give you. We'll give you this guy who's like just kind of ranked, not really ranked. And then in the second round, just puts his finger to the back of his head, and he's like, "Well, that was 2 years that I can't get back."
Why don't they tape their fingers together?
Another 2 years.
What if they tape their fingers together, like across like that, and then you can still do this, but you shouldn't be doing that anyways, right? You're not slapping them in the face. Unless Ric Flair is hopping in there with you.
Well, I mean, it's like, think about grips for like grappling, right? Like you want to be able to get your fingers together, right? Like this. Anyway, there are better ideas for gloves, but right now the UFC gloves very much do encourage a palm open rather than a palm closed. And the problem is there's a very, I don't want to call it industry leading, but a very good idea out there for a different set of gloves made by Onyx, which is the coach of Justin Gaethje. And he's basically saying, yeah, the UFC loves what I make, but they want full ownership. And he's like, I'm not giving the UFC full ownership to these gloves. So it's basically a standoff between a giant corporation and a man who has a great idea.
Okay. So what you're saying is nobody's close to a solution to this problem.
No, there's close to a solution. They're not close on a business dealing, right?
Okay.
The ideas are out there. It's just who's going to fold first.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, viewers at home, that's the reason I gave you this information is so that when you're at a party and they're talking UFC, you can just give that little tidbit of knowledge, like, oh, did you hear about Trevor Whitman's gloves? And then you sound like just the smartest guy in the room, and you're like, I've watched one fight, and it was Conor McGregor in the last 7 years.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I would hastily use smartest person in the room and watching a UFC fight in the same sentence.
About the UFC,
right? So you're like, I don't care about the fighting. I don't care about the fighting. I care about the politics of the sport.
You know what we should do for our next like Super Bowl is when this is coming up is like top 5 things you can say to your friends to make it seem like you actually watch football.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure you can do that about
any sport, but the Super Bowl is a big one, right?
Can't do that about anything, right? You want people to think you're photography, right? You have
I'm not the biggest fan of increasing the f-stop that much.
What's the f-stop? Oh, god damn it! God damn it!
Oh, are you new to photography?
Are you new to photograph?
Hey, you can do it with any sport. You're like, yeah, I really think the game has changed since they got rid of the 2-line pass.
Cam, how many people are listening to this podcast because of its hot UFC kind of takes, Cam? Because I think you actually 97%. You actually missed a prop bet from a few weeks back that was to do with a UFC match, and you never brought it up ever again. So I just kind of let it. Which one was it? I think it was the one where there was like a heavier weight fight a couple weekends back.
Oh, yeah. Then I said that it would end, and you said it wouldn't end or something like that.
Yeah, Cam, because I think next time you do those, I love you bringing prop bets to the table. You can't pick anything that you would have to know a background about the athlete. It can only be
fair.
super.
Yeah, because I feel like me doing the UFC ones aren't really fair.
It can only be peripherals and superlatives, right? It can only be like who,
like
you know,
trunk
like
color.
Shiniest shoes, like that.
Right.
It can only be those, or else I'll have I'm not making. And it's not.
I got a good one.
And it's
of the main event fighters. We'll do this later, but of the main event fighters and like the card. How many of them have their name tattooed on their backs?
Yeah, something like that would be perfect, right? Because it requires no knowledge of the sport, and then that way, I can also have fun because I'm not just like blindly taking a guess where you have an informed guess.
I'm like dumb idiot.
You're like, dumbass, you think it's gonna go all the way? Because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck all the way means.
That's a 50% chance.
Is it one of those 3-round all the ways, or is it a 5-round all the way?
Yeah.
Why are they different?
I'll come up with some good ones.
Why are they different? I don't know. Yeah, so I think next time, but unfortunately, it does require a little more paying attention to, because it isn't just straight up fact results. You know, if you want something like
straight up facts and logic.
Yeah, like which coach will have the longest hair. You know, something like that. You do kind of need to pay attention to little things that isn't just the fight. Or
right.
which
Does
trainer,
Herb Dean
rather.
referee the last fight?
Exactly. That's one that we can,
Right.
or is it going to be Herb Dean or the Viking guy? Like those are going to be your two refs, you know? And then it's a non-UFC sanctioned event. Will Mauro Ranallo be doing commentary? See, these are
Definitely
all very important. Hopefully.
Well, he only does it for Bellator.
And then those Triller fights now. All the Logan Paul matches.
Yeah.
They've got more Ranallo on there going, Mamma Mia! He's the best, isn't he? Fuck.
Yeah, there's no one better in broadcasting.
There's honestly no one better in fight broadcasting than Mauro Ranallo. I don't know. I honestly don't watch enough fights to really be like, hey, there's like, all these other people. But he brings such a level of excitement and fun to, when he was working with professional wrestling for years and now on the independent circuit and these big fights.
Does he doesn't do wrestling anymore? No,
he left earlier on in the year, right around kind of like the COVID hit, or I guess 2020, like this time 2020.
Why?
He suffered. He has his own kind of like mental health issues.
The bipolar rock and roller, baby.
That he deals with himself. Exactly, right? And I think just sometimes, given the shift of it all, he wasn't, it wasn't the right decision for him to take. So I think after he left WWE, that fucking Tyson fight was like the first fight he did back. Coming back in the game. And that was real cool to see him sitting there with fucking Snoop and... Who was the other guy? I remember it was really funny. I was at a party watching that Mike Tyson fight.
Wasn't it Israel Adesanya?
Yeah, it was Israel Adesanya, Snoop Dogg, somebody else, Lennox Lewis, and then Mauro Ranallo.
Hey, shout out to Marvin Hagler.
So the entire fight was just Mauro Ranallo trying his best to keep these three dumb fucks on the proper page.
Well, I think Snoop is the worst for out of control because he just says, like, I'm not a fan of Snoop for sports broadcasting.
So that whole panel, you have one...
Israel Adesanya, one of the highest rated strikers in all
Cam, that has nothing to do with it. I think
Mauro Ranallo, one of the highest rated broadcaster in sports, Snoop Dogg, hasn't made a good album in 20 years. And who else?
There's Lennox Lewis.
Okay. I think Snoop is the odd man out.
Cam,
he's just supposed to be like...
I think when it comes to commentary, you need to break it down even further, right? So we have Mauro Ranallo, a professional, accomplished, studied in his craft. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then beside him, we have one of the world's most famous potheads.
Yeah.
And then beside them, we have two people who spend their career getting hit in the head.
No, hit other people in the
head. Yeah. I'm sure at the end, Israel Adesanya is going to come out of this without a single head injury.
Not a scratch.
His brain is not a speck of CTE on it. They checked. They're doing constant scans of Israel Adesanya, and he doesn't have a single little CTE patch at all. It's amazing. Doctors have never seen it.
Doctors
Not
can't
a
believe
single one of the probably dozens, if not hundreds of strikes he's taken to the skull have affected him in any way. He's truly a marvel of human achievement at this point.
And that's why he was a good broadcaster partner.
That's why
so
he
I
was
don't know where you're really getting to here.
That's why he was a good broadcaster. But yeah, it was funny to see, you know. But yeah, next time we do a fight prop bet, it'd be great to we'll reach it out. That way the slobs at home can have a little more fun with it too.
Fair enough. Okay, well, I think this is a good point to jump off and cover the nightcap.
Oh, those are huge puns. That's right, folks. Yeah, if you tuned in last week, you know, so we kind of gave up a little our first chunk of the nightcap. The nightcap, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. All we need is 5 minutes to recap this week's episode. Maybe less than 5 minutes, but certainly not more than 5 minutes. We're going to need more than 5 minutes. Our weekly dive into season 1 of KnightRider, starring David S. Hasselhoff, of course. So we're talking about episode 103, Deadly Maneuvers, here on this one. You didn't miss much. If you did miss last week's episode, we sort of kind of established, you know, Michael Knight is kind of, he's a man off the grid. He's pronounced dead. We bring him back with some 80s reconstructive surgery, set him up with Kit, the car, and this is a supercar just like anything else. Man, imagine being a kid watching this show. Yeah, that car is the coolest fucking thing that you have ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hold up much in today's standards, but yeah, definitely at that point. I think we're maybe diverging into talk here, so we might want to.
Okay, so as you know, all we have is 5 minutes to actually go about this. So let's take ourselves back to a beautiful Saturday, October 1st, 1982. We have 5 minutes on the clock here, Cam. You're going to give us the first half. I'm going to chug out the second half. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, and go.
So this week on KnightRider, we find out that these episodes are not related to each other, other than and the car. Plowing ahead here, David Hasselhoff is driving with Kit down a valley road and runs into this army base lady whose car is broken down. Obviously, David Hasselhoff, what a good-looking fella, decides to pick this lady up and figure out where she's going. And it turns out she's going to the base, the army base, that is. Heading off there, towing her car back, and actually damaging the car itself in the progress, that is Kit. He makes it in and surprisingly has absolutely no issue at all moving around throughout the base. Able to get in, able to pretend to be a vendor to get access to files. And sooner than later, he figures out that the reason this lady is going back to the base is to see her father, who there might be a murder of. He's no longer around, and the how can I put it? The circumstances that he passed away, a little suspicious. He goes on investigating the death of this soldier, trying to figure out what has happened. Marches into the base, going into the funeral itself of this man that he has never met, and this woman that he has known for less than, I don't know, a day at this point, and trouble ensues. This deadly investigation maybe is more than just obscurity. Maybe this is a cover-up. He starts digging into this, and I'll tell you what, Cam. Well, why don't you tell me? Go ahead.
Wait.
I'm not done. I'm giving you extra time here.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Tell me.
That's where it hits that midpoint there.
Wait, you're going into me? Oh no,
yeah. That's my turn off. That's my signal.
Oh, that was the turn off, right? So yeah, like you said, Robin Ladd, Lieutenant Ladd. That's the woman that we've learned and we've met. You know, it's because her and Michael, they checked out the crash scene where we do not believe that that this could. That, you know, we don't believe that the crash happened. What they said they were happening, but Kit keeps reminding us the whole time that he has a broken alpha unit. alpha circuit. It keeps breaking. I don't speak ones and zeros, but I think that sounds pretty bad. So that's like when we return to Miles and new car repair woman Bonnie, who love her immediately. By the way, she replaces Kit's alpha circuit, and we get back on our way. A couple good chases in this episode too. So right about now, we're at this point where at the very beginning of the episode there was some nuclear bombs that were, sort of around, and they were found by somebody who we're not sure where they were, and they had blue paint on them, and Michael Knight says, I'm going to try to recreate what your father's steps would be. He finds himself in the exact bunker that the man from the opening was, accompanied by the blue paint. However, these bombs weren't just normal bombs, because normal bombs are labeled yellow, which probably mean like they can kill 50 people. But if they're labeled blue... No, sorry, other way around. If they're labeled yellow, it means nuclear, gonna kill everybody. But if they're labeled blue, it means like, hey, it's only gonna kill 50 people. So somebody, probably with full knowledge, has covered up all the yellow bombs with blue paint, meaning that these simple 50 or 100 person death droppers are actually gonna kill a lot of people. This is right around where we get caught. Which I also love. There's always seems to be a point where Michael Knight always gets caught, not knowing how far the scandal goes. He tells Lieutenant Ladd, who of course gets arrested for suspicion of treason. Which I guess, hey, you're in the army, and that's what's actually going to happen to you. But what's happened now is that we've been Ladd's been arrested for treason. However, this is a cover-up that goes pretty high up, because what we figured out is that these bombs are being sold possibly to bad guys or possibly to good guys, and that was 45. The point. Right? Something like that. This ends in a fury, by the way, where Michael Knight and Kit are driving out into an opening firing range to retrieve Lieutenant Ladd, who's directly in the middle, locked up in a tank. Who knew the U.S. Army was capable of so much nonsense? However, after Kit and Michael drive through this treacherous terrain of bombs and shells being shot at them, they pick up Lieutenant Ladd, drive all the way back to the base where they are able to capture this bad guy, General Duncan, and, of course, General Sanderson, who's the one doing treachery in the first place. That's all I got.
2, 1, time. Beautiful. Wow, look at that. Well, that was much better than last week, Cam. Without getting into the details of it, I think we've got our suit down. I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to diagnose 45 minutes into 5 minutes rather than an hour and a half.
Amen. Amen. Like you said to that, Cam. Like you said to that. We'll have to find the right perfect middle mark, because what I had as the middle was not what you had as the middle.
I think I was just skipping parts that weren't as important to me.
That's why I was a little confused. How could you forget Bonnie?
See, I look at that as I look at who cares if the car got repaired, because it didn't add anything to the story.
I don't know. That's a huge. I thought that was a huge moment. See, hey, I mean, I guess it's all how it was. All how you interpret the action. Of course, right? Kids these days, they need constant stimulation, right? You can watch a movie like Stripes. It just kind of starts off with 15 minutes of Bill Murray driving through the city of New York City in his taxi. That's not funny. If there's not a cum joke within the first 90 seconds,
6 minutes,
your comedy has failed.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
They call it the Judd Apatow effect.
They call it the Judd Apatow effect, of course, the Judd Apatow method. You go penis joke, penis joke, penis
I think
joke.
You start off with someone nude and mostly a lady or a guy's dick. And then that's
or a flaccid male
this
penis.
This is raunchy.
Yeah. Flaccid male penis. Then we kind of cut to something eventually, there's a fart. It's a little fart. And then kind of another penis. And then we'll find out the lead character's name. But it's always a process getting through one of these Judd Apatow movies.
Still gotta love the guy. Hey, let's keep plowing ahead here, because we can't be dwelling too much on TV shows, because I think it's time for our final game of the evening.
Let's play it.
Headline or asinine?
Hey. Headline or asinine? Headline or asinine?
This is where we dive into the wacky world of news, some stranger than fiction and some outright lies.
What was that impression you were doing right there? You were
What's
like,
that?
You were doing like headline, or what was the impression?
Because that's what our thing sounds like.
Oh, you were doing. I believe it's your voice.
It is, but it does.
So
I don't know. When I hear my own voice, it sounds so much more manly than I appreciate
You could have just said
it.
headliner asinine, and it actually would have been pretty.
Headliner asinine.
Boom! You got it right. News lines back and forth. Some are real, some are fake. Cam, I'm gonna start off here for you. Headliner asinine: woman arrested for masturbating with a breakfast sausage in a Walmart bathroom.
See, the first thing that comes to mind with this is breakfast sausages are just so flaccid. So I just don't see how. But everything lines up here. We got the right shape, the right gender, and the right location. Right? Everything matches up here. So I'm going to go ahead and call headline.
That's asinine, buddy.
You never start off with an asinine. I didn't want to believe it.
I mean, that's part of playing the game.
Fine. Headliner asinine, Cam. Basketball announcer blames using the N-word on his diabetes.
Using the N-word on his diabetes. Man, if this was true, this was a bad week for basketball connected people and saying inappropriate things. How could your diabetes like if somebody gave if you were given diabetes on purpose and then you had like hate in your heart already. See, I'm trying to think like at least like saying that one's tough to blame on your diabetes because there's other words you could use to like complain about your diabetes. You could go like fucking pussy motherfucker diabetes. Like, kind of if you're treating diabetes as a person, and if you're treating diabetes as a black person, that's a little weird. Unless you're black yourself. And he just dropped an N-bomb because it was like casual conversation. I'm going to say that's asinine.
This one's a headline out of Oklahoma where a basketball player, yes, we're going to say your name, Matt Rowan, on Thursday, March 11th, went on a racist tirade after seeing high school girls, silently protest racial equality by kneeling. His words specifically, they're kneeling, ? Fucking blank, he said. Thinking that the microphone was off, I hope Norman High School gets their asses kicked. Fuck them. I hope they lose. Come on, Midwest City. They're going to kneel like that? Hell no. He later released a statement through his lawyer saying that it's the most regrettable things he's ever said and claimed originally he wasn't the one that made the remarks, but then later said, my blood sugar was really low and my brain's not really working. And I'm like, maybe this is the number one excuse in sports.
Well, that's all okay, so I wasn't thinking about it in a hot mic situation. I was thinking about it like they knew the mic was on and they were I don't know why I thought they would be consciously saying this.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not good. Not a good look.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, but yeah, I pictured somebody on purpose, like, hey, what's going on, everybody? Beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. God. Okay, here we go, Cam. Headline, or asinine. Naked mole rats have accents and discriminate against foreigners.
I think every animal does have an accent for that purpose. Now, naked mole rats are just like another animal, so we can't be distinguishing them. But I think this is obviously a much more complex thing, but like blue whales, I know that they're kind of weird with other blue whales. Same with dolphins, because they sound different. Naked mole rats, I'd imagine, are probably from a different region originally, sound a little bit different, and because of that, treat other mole rats a little different. Headline,
Cam, that is a headline. They say strangers are just friends that you haven't met yet. Well, apparently that's not the case to naked mole rats, where recently in Germany, scientists have learned that naked mole rats speak their own local dialects and will be hostile towards other mole rats who don't speak their same language. So, out of Germany, where we learned they took a bunch of these ugly little creatures. Did you know that mole rats can have colonies of up to 300 members with only one breeding female?
You didn't know that?
It's crazy. They organize themselves with roles like soldiers, workers, builders, and they somehow cooperate through all of this very easily. They are very vocal creatures. Scientists recorded the sounds of 166 different mole rats belonging to 7 different colonies. After examining the acoustic properties of the rats, they discovered that each colony actually has its own distinct accent. And while these mole rats interact, scientists noticed other characteristics, such as xenophobia. So here's what the scientists would do. They would put each mole rat was split up into their own colonies, and then they would play recordings back of the rat kind of chirps and squeals and noises from the other colonies to see what kind of reactions they were. And they were hostile, to say the least. You know, they started what do? They kind of writhe around a little bit. I don't know. You can picture a naked mole rat. You've seen Kim Possible. They did not respond well to things like that, which is crazy, which is kind of funny to picture this happening in the animal community. You know, I mean, people like to think that, you know, animals all love each other and that nature and earth is all chakras and the moon's aligning. But no, they hate each other just as much as we hate us. Cam, you are right, though. There are a couple other species who use dialects, whales and primates also.
Look how smart I am. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad to show that I was right. Fun facts too. I like that. I thought we were gonna say the fun facts were in there, but I got to pump a few in there to let the people know. And this is what they show up here for, Cam. They show up for facts and logic.
Yeah.
Headliner asinine, Cam. Ginger sperm deposits selling for over $45,000 on the black market.
Ginger sperm. Yeah, I wonder if. Yeah, that sort of seems like it's like a boutique thing. You know, like someone will pay like a lot of money for a certain breed of dog because you're like, I want that dog. I don't care how much you spend, right? You're gonna spend, you spend $5,000 on a teacup terrier so you can have it, jump around in your purse when you're at work or something, right? And I think kids would be no different, right? Like, how much would you say a vial with like 50 cc's of Brad Pitt? How much would that go for on the open market? Millions, right? The opportunity to be...
You'd imagine, yeah.
To be, kind of...
the child support alone.
Well, I mean, take child support out of it. You could have a little Brad Pitt Jr., right? With all of his charm and looks and acting ability, that would go a long way. Imagine how much 50 cc's of LeBron James could probably go for to the proper,
maybe of Cam, who knows,
to the proper scientific, team out there in Russia who's building people in jars. They could do a lot with that kind of DNA, and I think this would be no different. People want to pay a lot of money for the the cute little freckles. He comes on the curly ginger hair. Ginger kids can be cute, and maybe that's sort of like something, very boutique-y, very pale skin. And who knows, I mean, it could be the move of somebody just wanting to keep the race, cream, milky, and pure. So it could be a lot of freaks like that. I'm going to say that's a headline.
No, I made it up. Damn. You definitely cannot find prices for the black market sperm game right now. You can try, but maybe we'll try and do that for next week.
Have you looked?
Notes.
Have you looked? Have you gone to Silk Road?
I guess I haven't. No, haven't been on the deep web today.
Yeah, today. Right. Cam, are you ready for your third headline? Is this the last headline of the game?
This is the last headline for you. You still have one that I got to get. Yeah.
Here we go, Cam. Headline or asinine. Man charged with murder in 2018 accidentally released from prison.
Did you say 2013?
18.
Oh, my God. I think that these things actually pop up more than we think because just like any accounting firm, people make mistakes with their clerical work. And because we don't treat people like people in prison, they're just numbers. Transpositional errors happen. And when we thought it said 6'9", it might say 9'6". And for that reason, Jerry, you're free to go. Headline.
Cam, you're right. This is a headline. It's a very true story coming from Rikers Island Prison in New York City. So back in 2018, a 26-year-old man named Christopher Buggs was arrested in connection to a second-degree murder charge. So here's what happened, and it's all kind of law-based, so who the hell knows what's going on. During a virtual trial he had in February, he and his judge requested that he be released on bail, which was denied. So he gets upset, he throws a fit, he's cussing at the judge, and he gets held in contempt of court for 30 days. Okay? So after his 30 days for being held in contempt are up. Now, I don't quite know how contempt works, so you're just going to have to go with me on this one. After he was released for contempt in court, he was set free by what the police are saying was a clerical error in his processing. And of course, hey, you're in prison and they tell you, hey, you're free to go. You're not gonna ask any questions. You're gonna get the fuck out of there. So be on the lookout, New York City, because he is out there and he is coming for you.
Oh, they didn't get him back.
No, he's still out there. This guy is out there right now. So, or they
at least the borders are closed.
Unless the story's changed, kind of in the past couple days or whatever. But yeah, he's out there. So
story's from 1983. All right, headline asinine. Ottawa mom shocked to discover Canada Post delivers shotgun to 11-year-old son.
Well, yeah. Well, so you can't blame Canada Post, right? Because they're just kind of like a pipeline connecting the people selling to the people buying, right? Like you wouldn't arrest a guy for delivering drugs, right? You would arrest the guy buying the drugs and then the guy selling the drugs. Arresting the guy just delivering the drugs sounds a bit crazy. Because, if you're a Canada Post worker, you probably just think that it's just some random Amazon package, right? Mm-hmm. Unless you're you're not looking into it. So don't blame Canada Post that a kid was able to buy a shotgun. I think you need to go a little bit higher up. You need to blame the people who sold the gun, or maybe blame your kid for being fucked. Because let me tell you, I was also 10, 11 at one point. Cam, you were also 10 or 11 at one point. Did you ever think to buy a real life shotgun?
First of all, no. And second of all, I wouldn't know how.
How would you even do that? I played all the violent video games in the world. I watched all the violent movies in the world. I never felt the need to buy the shotgun. If you're blaming Canada Post because your kid bought a shotgun, you're blaming, you might as well just blame Canada Post for you being a shitty mother. That's a headline.
That is a headline, and not exactly the way you'd think. So while it feels like, of course, you don't blame Canada Post, they're just the messenger, quite literally. It does seem like they're a little bit at fault here. So the shotgun, I didn't know you could order this in the mail, happened in a postal mixed-up where the package was delivered, and the package was, here's the specific word they said, the label likely fell off her package and came to be on a gun package by mistake. The package also said it required an adult signature and could not be handed to a child. So there was some problems with Canada Post.
Okay.
They definitely should have been checking with age, first of all, because you shouldn't be giving something that says need 18-year-old verification on the package. And second of all, what? How do you order a gun in the mail in Canada?
So the kid didn't buy a gun. It just ended up at their house.
He opens the package and he's like, "Mom, look, this is a real gun." And she's like, "Yeah, Timmy, I know." and then, next thing she walks over and there's a fucking fully automatic shotgun, just like the ones you see in COD. It's pretty disturbing.
You know what? Call me. I'll take it.
Call me alt-right.
I'll take it.
Call me alt-right,
fucking audience out there. You can call me a bleeding heart. I don't care. I've got thick skin. I can take it. Call me a bleeding heart socialist, but I don't believe you should be able to buy a gun in the mail. Call me crazy.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying, what if I need to protect my family? Hey, this is a non-political
if I need
podcast.
to protect my family.
in the mail because it's COVID. I can't go in stores. It's this goddamn government. Anyway, that's all the time we have here, folks. Thank you all for tuning in to another great episode of the pod. Sorry if the energy wasn't as high as it normally is. Or if it was, in your opinion, let us know.
It probably was. It could have been twoceesinapod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We hope everyone's enjoying their, now that we have sprung forward, more sunlight for us, kind of, more vitamin D, as it were. Everyone can kind of get out of the harsh winter season, because it certainly felt like a long one.
Oh, it wasn't too bad for me, but yeah, I'm glad we're out of it for sure. Get to spend some time in the patio. Mm-hmm. The patio lanterns are out.
What's that? Is that Kimo Mitchell? Is he coming up next?
Kimo Mitchell is coming up next, playing his hit songs, Patio Lanterns, followed by his guest, Patty O'Lantern.
There you go. So you had it there. I knew I was going to let you get to it. I was going to let you get on our way. We don't want that Kimo Mitchell. We are coming up on, I think we are coming up on St. Patrick's Day this week, aren't we?
Is that this week? No way.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. So everyone enjoys St. Patrick's.
March something.
March something, baby. Okay, Cam, close it out.
Oh, right. I normally say things, and good thing I have it on the top of this mind. Did you know, Cam, you think your brother is really your brother? Might have been your twin. The longest time between two twins being born is 87 days. I'm Cam LeClaire, signing off.
Take care, folks.
Continuing tonight on Two C's in a Pod. 96.7 on your Two C's in a pod, 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 two C's just like two C's in a pod, because we're two C's in a pod, just like two C's in a pod, two C's in a pod at gmail.com.